now. So maybe I won't have to take notes. Okay. I know we have to turn in minutes. I'll still try to take notes. Okay. So let me first start by recording who's here. That's Aisha, Nyla, Shawanda, and Charles Tyler is trying to get in. Let me get Charles Tyler here. Okay. All right. Wayman's phone. And let's see, who else? Is that everybody? Hey, Charles.
Hey, how you doing, Dr. Fowler?
Good, thanks. We got Aisha, Charles, Nyla, Shawanda, and Wayman. Aisha, Charles, Nyla, Shawanda, and Wayman. Okay. Charles, you may have walked in at just the perfect time. Did you particularly want to take notes and do the minutes?
I'm not good at that, Doc.
Okay. No, I'll try to do them. Everybody else is just fighting with each other over getting to do it. And so I said to keep the peace, I was going to take them. But do you want to give it a shot? No. Okay.
No, sir. To be quite honest with you, I'm not good at that.
Okay, me either. Okay. All right. I've got the attendees here. I'll try to remember who they are. Okay. And we're recording the meeting, by the way, so everybody can get it later. So I guess let's just start with how's the summer going? Any issues, concerns, celebrations, anything such as that?
I had a question.
Okay.
Is the summer term a little shorter than normal?
Absolutely. They're blaming it all on Banner. Okay. And I think in addition to Banner, it's the termination of the AS400. So what they're having to do, if my understanding is right, is here comes, Charles must have had to go out and come back in. So here we go. He's coming back. My understanding, just a minute, I have to. Okay. I'm not trying to take notes at the same time. I think they have to have everything ended by the end of July. Okay. Normally, summer term goes into the first week in August. Not very far into it, but sometime. And every time I turn around, it seems like they shortened it a little bit more. Because I thought, grades were due, at a certain time, and now it seems like it's almost a week earlier. So
yeah, I saw a calendar, I believe, that Dr. Crawford put out that I want to say had exams like the 21st, 22nd or something in July.
23rd. It's what the 23rd, the exam on the 23rd.
Right.
Well, they put that out after we made our syllabi, and I can't
so
go.
So I'm just trying to, I guess, figure out how I'm gonna modify things, but I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't a mistake that I was looking at. The schedule.
I think it is a mistake, but it's the one that we're having to live with.
Yeah, but I figured we never taught 2 hours and 15 minutes before in the summer. It's like was 1 hour 45 minutes, isn't it?
Okay, no. Last summer we did this longer time, but the summer before it was 1 hour 50 minutes. Always it had been 1 hour and 50 minutes until last summer they extended it to 2 hours and 15 minutes.
That was a typo.
What's that?
That was a typo in the schedule, I think.
No, Dr. Davis said it had to be that way.
It was extra like 15 minutes. We had extra 15 minutes last summer.
Yeah, yes, we did. But that was intentional. I told them it was too long, and she said, well, we've already decided, or something like that. I can't remember exactly how it went. But anyway, we went too long last summer, which was good. I got more covered last summer than ever. But then this summer, they've decided well, it's almost fortunate they went with a longer time, but it wasn't long enough to cover what we need to cover. So, yeah, we're hurting. It's going to be tough. But it's sort of like last spring. They said, whatever happens, just go with the flow, and I think we have to just go with the flow now. Now, I feel sorry for the transient students who are going back to their home campuses and probably are going to be shortchanged some, but I can't do anything about it. All right. Now, yeah, and then at first it was the end of the month, and then it moved up to the week before the end of the month. And then they put in summer second mini-term courses, which are way too short for a mini-term course. So that was pretty awful. But the only math course I put out there, they canceled it. In fact, most of the courses they put out there, they canceled. I only saw a handful that they kept open. Those poor instructors, whatever they're going to do. Now I put summer T2 on the syllabus because I was wondering to see, but since I put it out there, then I've seen that the class was canceled, which is a week before it began. They canceled it, but that's pretty normal. I did want to mention one thing of congratulations to the department. No-show reports. Not a single math instructor failed to get them in. So way to go. Now, they did say, and it didn't say who, they did say some people were attending, but they had never attended, or they didn't have an attending on their attendance list. If you might want to check and make sure that you did include all the no-shows that were truly no-shows. But they...
Okay, Dr. Fallon, I am confused about this.
Okay.
Dr. Davis sent an email, and the email says, if the students turn their work by the end of the week, do not mark them an absence.
Right.
I have a student, he did his web assign, that's probably me, he did his web assign, and he signed his web assign. He did the assignments, he never came to class, and I always send the link for the class that we are going to meet on the Blackboard Collaborate. What happened here, I submitted the no-show, and he did the web assign, and I did not see the web assign until after I submitted. I went to web assign, and I find out that he did 30% of the assignments. So I emailed them. I said, okay, I have the student submitted. I got this just because Dr. Davis told us so. You do not mark them absence if they did a homework. So at least he show up once if he gets on web assign and did the homework, one day at least.
Uh-huh.
And this is what's so confusing. He never showed to class, and at the same time, he did his web assign, but not all of it.
Right. And he's getting credit for being there.
No, I'm not giving him credit for being there, but he is, unless if a student tell me, okay, I'm not giving him a credit to be there on the suite. No, I'm not. He's absent every day. Okay. He's absent every day, but Dr. Davis told us do not mark them absent. I'm not marking them attendance because I cannot factor every time when he do the web assign when he's going to turn it in. On my side, on the Blackboard, he never turn any homework on the Blackboard. He never upload any homework on the Blackboard.
Okay, my question to you, did you mark him on the no-show report or not?
I marked him at the beginning, yes. And then I sent an email to Dr. Glaze, and she forwarded that to someone. Miss Haynes, I think. I forgot to.
Miss Chisholm?
No, not Miss Chisholm. And then I did not put the NS because he did web assignments. Okay.
So you marked him.
I'm not marking him present on the faculty suite. I'm just giving him an A all the time. but I did not give him an NS because he did the homework.
Okay. Okay.
And
Now,
he did the web assign. He did. I mean, it's a jump from 1 day from 1% to 35% overnight. He did it.
okay. Now,
And I tried to contact him. I called him, and he never answered.
okay. Now, my question to you: you did put him on the no-show report?
I did not. I did at the beginning. That's why I emailed it, so they opened it for me. I took it off.
Okay. Okay. I don't understand what you're meaning by at the beginning. When you
Yeah, because I emailed them, and then they opened it for me. They did reopen it for me.
Oh, they reopened the no-show.
Yeah. They reopened it for me, that class, and I took it off.
You took off that he was a no-show.
Yes, because
Okay.
he did the assignments.
Okay, but on your attendance, you've never marked him present.
He never marked present. No.
Okay. Well, you have to rationalize that. You have to either mark him present for that day that he turned in an assignment, or he goes back on the...
I think I updated the attendance for that. I just gave him 1 day as an attendance.
Okay, so you have done that.
I think so. I was thinking about doing it.
Okay, yeah. You still have time. So I would say get that done. Otherwise, Lori will probably be asking you, hey, this person you have, let's say, has never attended, and yet you took him off the no-show report. So be sure you make that adjustment. Now, on the other hand, just as a practical thing, right now, I'm not seeing how he's going to pass your course.
No, he's not. There's
okay.
no way he's going to pass the course. No.
Okay.
No.
Well, be sure you communicate that to him as well. That even though I mean, it was his choice. I mean, this sounds crazy. I can almost understand this happening. He'll say, "No, I never attended the class." He'll go crying to the records office and say, "I never attended. Therefore, why do I get an F or whatever grade he gets?" And they'll say, "Oh, but your instructor marked you as attending, but you marked him because Dr. Davis said you had to mark him because he turned in one assignment, one partial assignment on 1 day, so therefore you couldn't mark him absent." That creates a very big ethical.
That's why I get confused. What on the earth? I mean, why it is?
This is, when I saw that, I thought this sounds crazy to me, and it still sounds crazy to me. But I don't know. I would say stand by for heavy rolls. That's what we used to say in the Navy when a storm was coming up. This is going to be that. This is just designed to be a disaster. The whole thing of marking people present that aren't present. And then later they can say, but I never attended. And they're absolutely right, they never attended. But we were told to mark them if they turn in a homework assignment. Just one. That's crazy, okay? But you're doing what you were told. What I would do, I know you're telling me now, and I can forward this to Dr. Davis and try to get a reading from her of what you should do. But you're doing what she said, but this student may turn around and say, but I never attended the class, and he'll be absolutely correct in saying that.
But no, he is in WebAssign. He did WebAssign. I'm checking his WebAssign again. He did WebAssign today too, and yesterday.
Oh, okay, so he's done it more than once.
Yeah, he's done it more than once. No, he has up to now, I'm just teaching now chapter 5, and this math 113, and he opened the 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, and he did some work on that.
Okay, so it's more than 1 day.
No, it's more than 1 day. I'm just gonna put him 1 day because he never gets to the blackboard. I mean, how I'm gonna make him? And he never contact me.
Right. Okay.
To be honest, I need a clear idea what I should do. Honest, I'm confused now.
Right, I understand. Have you administered a test yet?
No, he never did a test.
No.
That's what
Have
I'm
you
saying.
given a test yet?
Yes, I gave 2 tests.
2 tests, and he has not completed either one.
Let me no, one of them it was with me, I practiced it, and one was in the middle of the section of chapter 1 of chapter. Nope, he did not did it. He did not do it.
Okay.
He did not do the exams. Nope, no sir.
Okay. Is it too late for him to do the exams, or would you give him a chance to do them? I'm not suggesting it. I'm just asking.
No, I will give him a chance to do it. Definitely, yes. But he never contact me. The student never contact me.
Okay. All right. Well, I will pass this on to Dr. Davis and say, I think we have a problem in the making here. It's not your fault. It's, I think, her fault. I won't say that probably, but he can, if he turns up with a really low grade, I can easily see him going to the honchos and saying, look, I never attended the class, and why am I getting this bad grade?
Because he's doing the web assign.
Okay, I understand, okay? But I'm just saying I can foresee that he can make that argument. And he'll be correct. He never attended a class. He turned in WebAssign, but he didn't. So I'm going to run this by Dr. Davis and find out what she says, okay? So I hope I have the data right. So that's a problem. I agree with you. I thought it was a problem when I first saw her email, but I think that was designed for people who are trying to keep up, even if they can't do the virtual classes. But he doesn't seem to be trying too hard. Okay. All right. Any other summer issues? Okay. Now, I will say this. It's not very important, but I have had much better attendance this summer than I did the last part of spring. And I think, yeah. You say you too?
Yes.
Okay.
Attendance and participation has been a lot better.
Okay. I think that's because they knew it was going to be virtual and they were prepared for it. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So wanted to get that in. Good. All right. If there's no others, and we don't have any T2 courses that made, so we'll let that go. Has anyone been in touch with Jeff? I can't find his number. I was going to try to call him before the meeting today. I've talked with him before, but I cannot find what I did with his number, and I haven't had a chance to call Human Resources and try to get that. Say again?
I have it if you want it.
Okay.
Well, I have to find it.
Okay, that's all right. You can email it to me. That will be fine. Okay. Now, what do y'all think of it? I would like to do something for Jeff, but I don't know exactly what. I've heard someone make a sort of a suggestion. Maybe it was Aisha. I don't remember. I know we talked about it, of maybe just having and possibly something like a Friday morning or something like this, so it won't be interfering with anyone's class, and just have open to the whole campus and say, hey, we're having a retirement celebration for Jeff. Why don't you log on, do a Zoom, log on and say hello, goodbye, best wishes, whatever. We can all toast, whatever. I don't know what we want to do. What are your thoughts on it? And by the way, it sounded like Wayman didn't know. Jeff, I didn't know this either, but he had been planning to retire, I think he said in January. In January. And when he didn't get any classes this summer, he has enough time. He has everything he needs. He decided to go on and retire this summer. So he's retiring.
Wow, yeah, I didn't know.
He's retiring July 1st. Well, he said to keep it quiet from you because he didn't want you in his business. No, I'm just kidding.
I got you.
Okay.
I can understand.
Okay. So what do you think? It seems a little ridiculous because we can't really be there, but it just seems like we ought to do a little something. Any ideas?
We can do drive-through.
Well, I talked to Jeff one time. I'm not sure how many times anyone else has talked to him, but he did say to me that he wanted to be able himself to say, to say goodbye to everyone.
Right.
So
Good.
that's why I thought a Zoom session would be a good thing to do, because
Right.
a lot of people can log in and he can maybe say whatever he wants to say and
Right.
say goodbye and, you know.
Okay. What do you think of a day and time? Now, I know the last Friday is right before the 4th of July weekend, so that might not be good. I'm trying to think. Today is the 18th. Tomorrow would be the 19th. That's a little short notice. How about the following Friday would be 19 and 7, 26th. That's not too close to the 4th of July. Do you think we would do it then, or do you have an idea on a better day or time? Not Friday or what? What do you think?
Well, Friday's better for me.
Okay.
Friday's good for me too.
Okay. What time would you like to do it? I take it that Jeff's not particularly early bird, but on the other hand, there's no commute involved. So, anyone got an idea on time?
I'm open.
Okay.
I'm open too.
Me too. It's not a problem.
If it's next Friday, maybe around lunchtime or so.
Around lunchtime? Okay. Is that good, or y'all got Friday plans and you rather knock it out in the morning? That's what I'm asking.
I guess maybe sometime before lunch or by lunch.
10 or 11, by 10:30 or 11 o'clock, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, 10:30 sounds like an idea.
That sounds fine.
Okay, so it's next Friday. That's I just added it up, 26th.
Okay.
Okay. And we'll play 10:30. And I'll try to get them to publish it for the whole school, faculty and staff. Okay, faculty and staff, because I know he worked with a lot of staff people with his SSS and things like this. I also know that he has good friends in other departments, so let's plan for that. And we'll set up a Zoom session. Let's see, I'm trying to think. Next Friday, I'm pretty sure we're in town. Yeah. So I think that's a pretty good time, and that's right close to when he's actually leaving. So I hope he still has his email. I emailed him on this one. I didn't on the first one because I thought maybe we'd talk about it first. But now that we've heard that he's in favor, I thought, well, look, we're running out of time. Let me go on and get him on here. But he didn't respond, so we'll get in touch with him. So Aisha, you can, since you've been in touch with him and he indicated that to you, you can go on and tell him that this is what we're planning. See if that day and time are okay with him. If he has a doctor's appointment, if he's out of town, if something else is happening that's not a good time, then let us know as soon as possible. Would you mind doing that?
No, I'll do it today. So it'll be Friday the 26th at 10:30.
Yeah. See what he thinks of that, and if he wants to adjust anything, let us know, and we'll send out the adjustment.
Okay.
All right. Good deal. And it'll just be a good farewell.
Right.
So, Nyla, don't bring donuts, okay? Never. Okay. All right.
Dr. Fowler.
Yes.
How long has Jeff been at Lawson State?
Boy, he told me it's been, I think, more than 25 years because he has enough time in to retire. He said he started at 22 and he's now 47. So it's been right at 25 years, but I think he has more than a year of sick leave and stuff. So he has plenty of time. This is the only full-time job I think he's ever held. I think.
What a great age to retire at too. Oh my God.
Yeah, except for health insurance. Okay, that's the real bear because the state doesn't provide the health benefit that it used to. So he has to pay a fairly large portion of his health insurance until he reaches Medicare age, and that's a ways off. So, but he understands that. We talked about that some. That was my only concern. I understood what he was saying, but he understood that and was. But he's a very healthy person. I'm sure he took a day of sick leave since the time I've been department chair, and he has an awful lot of hours out there. So he seems to be in pretty good health. So maybe he doesn't have to worry about it. All right, so we'll take care of Jeff that way. Any other comments on it? Ideas for it? Now, I know a lot of times when people retire, there's sort of a collection taken for them, but I don't know how to do that virtually.
Yeah. Unless he has Cash App or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know if he has Venmo. That would be nice. Or
Cash App or Venmo or something like that.
Yeah, okay. I didn't know Cash App, but okay, it's similar to Venmo.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir, it is.
Do you want me to ask him?
Yeah, why don't you do that if you don't
him.
mind?
Yeah, ask him.
Oh, okay.
And because I can't think of any other way to accomplish something like that. And that's not very anonymous. Usually it's the big pot, everybody contributes what they want to, and you never know who gave you what, which is a nice way to do it, but I don't know how to do that now. Unless, does anyone have a Venmo or Cash App account?
I do.
Oh, you do? Well, what would you think, now this is putting a lot on you, if we contributed to yours and then you, I don't know, what would you do then? Write him a check?
I would
or?
probably, no, I would, you're saying so we can do it anonymous, but.
Well, no, the thing is, I don't know if he
does.
doesn't have an account.
Yeah, but if he does and y'all send it to me, it'll just come from me saying this is from the math department.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He wouldn't know how much everybody gave because it'll come from one person saying this is from all of us.
Right.
Now, so I'm fine with that. Just I'll give everybody a deadline by the time they need to have the money into me, and then I'll send them to, send that total amount to him. You know what I mean?
All right. Now, for people.
And I can send confirmation. I can take a screenshot and send confirmation to everybody to show what the amount that I sent to him. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
okay.
To verify what was sent to me and what was sent to him.
Right. But what I'm saying is, what if someone doesn't have this? What would you like if they don't have, and you said yours was Cash App, if they don't have that, is it easy or hard for them to get that, or would that be something that people might want?
No, it's easy. There's just an app to download, and you put in your bank account information or whatever, and that's it, or credit card information, and then that's it. It's not hard at all.
And it's not
hard at all.
Okay. Here's my scenario in my old sick mind. Say I'm a dinosaur. What if some other dinosaurs, other than me, I don't mind, but were to say, I'm not sure I want to give some anonymous a company out here my bank information. I don't know if I can trust
I understand.
them. Yeah. So what if people want to contribute?
Some of the old dinosaurs have used PayPal. PayPal's been around for the last 20-some years.
I know.
Some people probably have PayPal.
Are you calling my wife a dinosaur? No, I'm sorry.
No. PayPal's one of the first services like this, digital services, cash services like that. So payment services. So if people have PayPal, I have PayPal too. So they can send it to me that way. And if they don't, they just, I guess, can mail it to me. But I'd rather, get the money, electronically some way.
So we can say either PayPal or Cash App.
Cash App or I don't have Venmo, but
okay, PayPal or Cash App.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I use Cash App all the time.
Right. Yeah. My wife has Venmo and PayPal, so we can do it either way. We didn't have Cash App, so we can do it through PayPal. But I'm not worried about me, but I'm worried about people who may be a little, skeptical about doing something like that. Okay.
I understand. And then again, they may, and if they don't want to be anonymous, they can send it to them themselves. They can mail it to them. They can do whatever they want to do.
Right. Or they, I guess they can mail it. Well, it would have to be cash. Mail them cash in an envelope with Lawson State's return address.
Hey, Doc, I'm real old school. We used to use money orders back in the day.
Oh, I've heard of those. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. That was a new thing. I'm beyond. Never mind. Okay. All right. Well, then we'll put that on the thing that I send to everybody and see if they can do that. And will they need to know your Cash App or PayPal, any information about you?
Yes, I can give it to them. I'd be more than happy to provide that information. I can email it to everybody if I need to.
Okay. All right. So that means we can pay you anytime that we wanted to, right?
That's right. That's
you
right.
know, years from now, we can keep paying you, right?
You can.
Oh, wow. Super. What a deal. Okay. Okay. Now, full-time instructors, and that's most of it. By the way, Cicely came aboard. Haven't seen her show up yet, but I saw that she was, so we admitted her.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. I wish, well, I'm sort of trying to do notes now. So no one else volunteered, Cicely. We miss you dearly. Okay.
Oh, man. Oh, I'll make sure next time to be right on time.
Yeah, you're going to have the same student. I understand now. You've used that one once. You can't use it again. Okay. All right. Professional goals for next year. This is full-time instructors only. Adjuncts don't have to do this. I need 3 or 4. Okay. Get me something. Okay. I don't know if you can access the evaluation instrument from home. If you don't, I can't remember if any place other than the L drive. If it's on the L drive and you don't have whatever that thing is called, VPN, then you probably can't do it. But all you have to do is type on an email 3 or 4 of your professional goals for next year and send them to me. I've tried getting started on the evaluations. They're technically due at the end of the month. I'm way behind on them. I started them a while back, and I've made some progress, but they're just, we've hit a really busy time of the term. I've got papers come in. I can't even get everything printed as fast as I can grade them. So I've got things printed and still things I haven't printed. So I don't know. It may not come right at the end of the month, but I'll get it as soon as I can. All right. I believe, okay, any questions on professional goals? And
when you are going to send it to us, Dr.
When am I going to send you what?
The forms.
Okay. You mean your evaluation?
Yeah.
Okay. After I get all this, I can't send them until I get the professional goals, because that goes on your evaluation. So I've already started gathering other data, but I can't do the evaluation until I get your professional goals. So if you'll just email me 3 or 4 professional goals. Now, has anyone already done it? I'm behind on emails, so I don't want to. Has anyone already sent me your professional goals? This is full-time instructors only.
I sent some long time ago. I'm not sure.
Okay, now last year is too long ago. I'm talking about within the last.
Not last year, last semester.
Okay, you did send them. Okay, I'll go back and look for them. Do you remember if that's what you called them, professional goals? Because that's the key word I'll look for, unless you called them something else.
I will do it. I will do it back. I will resend it for you.
Okay, that would be great. That way I won't have to search it.
No, I will resend it for you.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right. Any other questions about professional goals? All right. The planning hearing, I haven't heard anything about them. I know the administrators are up to their ears in Banner. I can't imagine they're going to let it slide. But so I think Jamie has sent the graduates from, I know that she sent the graduates from fall. I believe there were, no, from summer, there were none, I don't believe. From fall, there were 2. Daniel Granville was one, and I can't remember the other one, but I know that's been sent to everybody. And then in the spring, we had a few more. I believe she sent those to everyone. If you have any data on any of them, and many of these were either honors college, STEM, PTK. Some of them may not have been any of them, but if you have any data on any of them, of those that you see there, and remember, and I think I sent you the student learning outcomes. It's basically comes down to communicating mathematical concepts well, and that would be, have they given presentations, reports, written reports, verbal reports, anything such as that in any of your classes. This goes back years. It doesn't have to be this year. Have you ever had this student in a class that you have gotten some type of feedback from? So that was one, communicating. I may not have them in the right order. Another one was appropriate use of technology. And this we're including in that things like My Math Lab, WebAssign. If they've done a paper, did they use a statistical package, or did they use, I would say even things like, a presentation that they used Excel or something like that to show their data, anything such as that. That would be use of technology. And someone help me with the third one. Participated. Let's see. I can't remember how we phrase that. We've had trouble with the phraseology. It's basically, it has to do with participated in the programs here at the college. And that would be specifically honors college, anything that would be either off campus or on campus, kind of extracurricular activity. Math team. If they ever participated at all with the math team, that would be fine too. Those kinds of things.
Dr. Fowler.
Yes.
Was the list from Jamie? Did she send a list for spring?
I thought so. Let me see real quickly here if I can find that.
Yeah, send me that list because I'm pretty sure Frederick is on that, and he's a STEM scholar. So I know.
Who did you say?
Frederick Brooks.
Oh yes, absolutely. And Patrick Higgins too. Let me see.
Who's?
Patrick Higgins.
Okay. Patrick, yeah, he's honors college.
I knew that. And let me see. Jamie Glass graduates. Now this is summer and spring. Okay. Okay. Can you see the screen? Oh, yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Here's the summer.
That's 2018.
What? Oh my goodness. Okay. Forget that. Where did that come from? Goodness gracious. I must have. Let me do a different quit. Okay.
Oh, that's the one. Click on that.
That's what I was thinking, but I only see summer there. Okay, where is this? I don't see the list. Okay. Maybe she didn't send it to everybody. No, wait, let's see. Blow this up some. Okay. Huh. Where is the in-between part? I know she sent it, and these are only my listings. So anyway, I don't know. I'll see if I can find it. I thought if she didn't send it to everybody, I thought I forwarded it to her, but let me shrink this down again.
Yeah, maybe if we just try to just go ahead and just get an updated list sent out to everyone.
Right.
Yeah.
Go through the list.
Okay.
Dr. Fowler, go back out. Exit that really quickly.
Okay.
Go to exit that.
There it is. There's Daniel Granville.
No, I think this is the fall, right?
Yeah, but he graduated in fall, yeah. But I'm trying to see if she put them all together. And Justin Brown, he was the other one. Okay. Those are those two that either graduated in fall or...
Yeah, that's just the fall.
Right.
I have that one. I actually saw that in the email. I just didn't see the spring.
Okay. I know I emailed her, and I just don't see where it is here.
These emails to your right. Go to the right, Dr. Fowler. You see these emails to your right? Charles Fowler, Jamie Glass. On the right.
Yeah.
Go to the right. Collapse those.
Okay. Oh, here's the one with the attachment. There it is. No, that's the same one, I think. Let me see. Daniel Granville. Justin Brown. No, that's that same one. Okay. Now, what you mean? Okay. All right. I just don't see them on here now. I know that I've requested it, and I know she responded, but I can't lay I must have used a different term. Let me try this. Well, all right. Let me just try this. Okay, let's try Jamie Glass. Okay. Head count. Oh, all these head counts are in here. I think that's head count, but I'm not sure. Oh yeah, that's a terrible one to try. Okay, I'll try to find it. So let's go back to, I've already lost probably my, okay. Let me go back to math department meeting. There we are. It's a little bit bigger and easier to read. Okay. There we go. All right. I'll try to get the list. I thought I'd already done it, but I'll find them again. All right, fall schedules. I can't say much about those because I think they've monkeyed with them since I last saw them, and I don't have any. They've taken away our ability, or at least my ability, but I think it's from all department chairs, the ability to do any adjustment to it. They've got it so that only they can make changes. So if you have any issues with the fall schedule, please take a look at it and let me know what those are. I have issues. I have Jeff Harris's name down for a bunch of classes, and Jeff Harris isn't teaching anymore. And I don't know if they've got any plans at all to hire somebody. I've told them we've got to have someone. They didn't replace Calvin, and now I haven't heard any movement to replace Jeff. Now, part of the issue is that he has to be SSS and us, and I don't know what the deal with that is. So, anyway, has anyone seen anything as far as a job search for him? Has anyone seen anything posted? I don't usually check that kind of stuff.
I haven't seen anything. I had a student support services meeting with LaSharon Harris. She didn't mention anything about it.
Yeah. Well, you see, LaSharon basically only does Bessemer campus. It's somebody else that does the Birmingham, so I'm not even sure she's aware that he retired because those are two different grants, I think. They were at one time anyway.
He has 3 classes.
What's that?
He has 3 classes for fall.
Yes. And we don't have anyone to put a name in there. Okay. So say again?
Well, never mind. I was going to ask about overloads for fall. I can pick up an extra class. I just need to make sure that they are willing to pay double or triple overload.
Well, if they don't hire anyone, I don't see how they can avoid it. Okay?
Yeah. Cicely, you might be getting those SSS courses.
Oh. Well.
I wouldn't be surprised. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I thought they taught several 098s.
They may just give all of them to her.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So there you go. We're good.
Here's the other thing. Everything that we've done for fall was set up as if we're going to be back on campus. Now, the odds are, in my mind, and this is just my opinion, I have heard nothing official. In my mind, we're not going to be back on campus. Now, there may be some limited stuff back on campus. For instance, I think you may have seen they are doing labs and the career tech, but it's all career tech stuff that they have to have hands-on face-to-face instruction. Okay? Dental, nursing, I would guess welding, air conditioning, probably some. Everything they can do, they're going to try to do virtually, but some they've got to do now. And then there's all sorts of rules for that. There's been a lot of talk about having hybrid type situation. And frankly, I think Karen sent me something today from UAB, what they're planning. But I'm not even sure. I'm sure they're going to have to try to do some hybrid stuff. Here's my guess of what the hybrid might turn out being. I would think if an instructor wants to teach from campus, they probably can. Now, this is just, again, my opinion, that you probably can teach from campus, but you'll need to be running a Zoom class from your classroom. So students who don't feel like they want to come back to campus can participate, as well as the students, and this is a lot of our students, who do not have the technology or the ability or the infrastructure or anything else to do a good virtual class. So I think a lot of our students really want to be back on campus because they don't do virtual very well. Okay? So therefore, I think they're going to try to get back on campus if at all possible. But it may be that some instructors may not be back on campus, but they may teach their classes from virtual, but teach them to people on campus as well as people in their homes. And that, to me, is the hybrid model that I think we may be heading for. I don't have... Does that make sense, what I'm saying?
Yeah, Dr. Fowler, I'd
Yes.
like to know, is there anyone of you, does anyone want to be back on campus teaching in the fall?
There are some ways I want to be back, but practically I don't think I should be back. My hematologist basically said absolutely not. Okay? Now, he didn't come out quite that strongly, but he said if you need a letter, if you need anything else, I'm recommending you not be on campus. Okay?
Nyla, what about you?
Who's that?
I was asking Nyla if she wants to be back on campus.
You know what? To me, I'm like pulled in two parts. You know what I mean? I want to be on campus, but not for teaching and with a full class. I would like to have meetings with the students with a distance, keeping distance, and like a full, protection in the class, like only not more than 6 students in the classroom, not more than that. And I will do the one-on-one help session and tutoring for the one they need, the one-on-one session, like physically they need me to be there.
Right. Now, let me throw this out. I think, this may be just me, but I can hardly imagine how an instructor can be in front of a classroom teaching. You are almost certainly spraying particulates, nuclei out there. And if you are sick and you don't know you're sick, you're potentially contaminating the whole class. So therefore, I think we have to be masked. Okay? Now, can you imagine teaching masked? Okay? I have a loud voice, as you know, but I'm not sure how that comes across if I had a mask on. So I would.
I bought a face shield.
Yes.
I bought face shield, and what I'm thinking, I'm gonna get like a plastic shower curtains and put it in the front of the blackboard or the smart board, so I will be behind this, so the students will not get my germs. Right. And they will be wearing their mask.
Yeah. And that is something that came up. I can't remember if it was at that GAP meeting or some other time, that the possibility of face shields may be better. And I suggested, why don't we have face shields with a microphone? Because even a face shield is going to block some of the noise. Yeah, sound is a compression wave. Okay. So that's not going to be good. But if we had microphones, that would be better, especially for people who are remote trying to participate. And actually, Karen's already bought me a headset and microphones. So, because something about this new computer, this HP that I got from Dr. James, that's a loaner because mine died. Students say when I turn my head like that, they can't hear me. Could y'all hear it fade out?
No.
Oh, you didn't? Okay. Every time this one class says, other classes don't complain. No, there's a couple classes that always complain and some that never complain. And I know I turn my heads in both classes, but they say, we can't hear you anytime I turn my head away from the microphone. And if I hold something up so they can see what I'm talking about, they say they can't hear me because it's blocking, because the microphone and the camera are at the same place on this computer. That old Fujitsu, as cruddy and crappy and old and ancient as it was, never had that problem. With this new HP, which should be much better, I'm sure is a much more expensive computer, it doesn't seem to have the range or anything that the old Fujitsu did. So Karen got me. Say again?
Wayman, do you want to be back in the classroom, Wayman?
No, not at all.
Charles, what about you?
Me or Charles Tyler?
Oh, I'm sorry, Charles.
No, online is awesome to me.
Yeah.
Now, Dr. Fowler, I did have a question in terms of with the continued virtual environment. My Surface Pro, I've lost the ability to use like a stylus,
right,
to write in free form.
Right.
And so, when I'm going through, problems, examples and stuff, I'm having to use that mouse, and that is very slow and efficient. And I was wondering, is there someone we can talk to about trying to get something updated or fixed or whatever?
Boy, I wish I could give everybody a tablet PC. Those are wonderful. But the only 3 the school owned, I've buried 2 of them, and they said somebody else buried the 3rd one. So I don't know.
Wayman, I stopped using my screen pen, and I've been using a Wacom tablet pen that works amazing with.
Well, I've been trying different pens. I mean, it's like my Surface Pro is starting to just go out on. Like the touchpad is gone. I've tried various different stylus pens and things.
No, it's actually a separate device that you connect to the Surface Pro and you write on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What
Can
is
you
it?
send
What
a picture of that?
Text me that. What you use?
I sure do. I will, and it's not expensive at all. And I've had
Me
it.
too. Can you please send it to me too?
Oh yeah, I sure will.
Yeah.
Is that Surface
I
tablet?
have the same
lawsuit?
problem with. Yeah, I have the same problem like Mr. Women because I do not. I bought a pen and it's not working. I have a touchscreen laptop, and of course, on the Surface Pro, it's so small. I cannot put all my slides. It will be too small. So can you please share it with me too as well? I will buy it.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Eula Todd, she had a lot of technology in her office when we were taking that class for TSU. Like she had she had a lot of iPads. People were borrowing iPads from her to take the class. So I mean, she might have an iPad that you can use.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'll check with
Yeah. Keisha has Keisha has like 30.
Okay.
Dr. James? Yeah, Dr. James has a lot. She sure does.
Yeah. I'll check with Keisha, but if you would, Aisha, just send me that tool you were talking about.
I will.
Okay. Now I've started using on Zoom the and it's not. I'm not a big proponent of it, but the students like it better than me holding a picture up in front. It's the whiteboard. And it's not easy to use, but I can do this kind of nature with it. Okay? It's slow, and I'm particularly slow at it. But you see, you can write on this, and it's not as good as a stylus, but you certainly can use it. And that's just using the keypad. And one reason I'm really bad at it, you have to hold the left button down and then write. But guess what? I'm left-handed. If I hold the left button down with my right hand, it's in the way of my writing with my left finger. So I'm writing with my right finger, and I don't write right-handed. But, yeah.
I'm going to send you that information too.
Excellent. Thank you.
That's a struggle. That sounds like a struggle.
Okay. But that is something else. If someone needs something right now, that's something you can do. And it's not terrible. It's slow, but they can see what you're writing. And I'll work my problems on that. And if you can imagine calculus and differential equations, and especially linear algebra with that, it's incredibly slow. But the students prefer that than what I had been doing was writing on a piece of paper and holding it up to the camera so they could see what I was doing. Now, someone's writing on the screen now.
That's me. I'm just playing around, Dr. Fowler.
Okay, good. Do you have a stylus, or how did you do that?
No, I did that with my finger.
Yeah.
I'll do it on my phone.
Yeah.
But this is what I use in Collaborate. When I use the whiteboard in Collaborate. So when I put a problem up, they are able to go, to touch the pen on there, and they're able to draw and do whatever they need to do on the whiteboard as well. So.
Yeah, and I've actually had some students in some classes say, I have a stylus, let me write on your board. So I would tell her what to write, and she would write it down. She was faster than I was, but it's still a pretty slow process. And that's on.
I'm using the Blackboard that collaborates, so I'm not using Zoom.
Yeah, but I think he just said it's on Collaborate as well. The whiteboard on Collaborate.
Yes, it's there.
And
yeah, it's there. Yeah.
And I can tell he's much more dexterous than I am, or whatever the word is. Okay.
Dr. Fowler, I have just one more question.
Yes, what's that?
I had a video and I read it. The stuff on the PowerPoint.
Sorry, my students were logged in.
Oh,
Okay.
I didn't ask you. Were you wanting to go back to the classroom in the fall?
Me?
No, Cicely.
Oh, Cicely.
No. Actually, I'm trying to do everything possible this semester, like trying to make the virtual work really well and asking my students and getting different ideas of how to make it work just as well as being on the ground course, because I don't want to go back to ground courses in the fall.
Yeah, I guess I was asking. I don't either. I guess I can go on and on, but I don't want to keep you you all too long, but my students are doing better, and I think because it's a little bit more focused and they don't have any excuses to not make it to campus or not show up to campus for tutoring.
All right, see you later.
They know that they can log in and or get help with me online from me online all throughout the day. But I'm wondering, is there any way for Dr. Fowler, for us, for the math instructors, math team to actually give our advice about what their plans are with hybrid if they do decide to go to hybrid instead of them just creating something that won't work?
Right.
I would like us to have some type of input into that decision.
I would say yes. Any input you got, feed it. You don't have to go through me, but if you want to go through me, I certainly will. But here's what I got from the GAP meeting. I can't remember. Wayman, were you there at that GAP meeting?
I was there.
Yeah, I thought so. And I think, Nyla, were you? I don't recall.
Yes.
Yes, you were.
Yeah, I was there. Yes,
And
the last one. All of them, yes.
If my memory's right, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, when they asked, do you want to be back on campus in the fall, all I heard was no, 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 no.
You're right.
So it's been the same answer you got here. So I think they've been told that. So
Right, Dr. Feller, I have to tell you something. Dr. Feller and everyone, you know that the schools around us are going back. UA, my daughter is in UA, they sent her an email that they are going back to school.
Right.
In the fall, but they are not going to go back. They are going to go back until Thanksgiving. From Thanksgiving until January, beginning of January, they will be off. So they will take probably their finals online, or they're going to do the finals in the school, and they leave from Thanksgiving and beyond.
Yeah, and that's the same at UAB.
But out there doing this as well.
Yeah. Here's the thing, and this is why I said, in my personal opinion, we're not going back. I asked Karen today when we had a little bit of break. I don't remember if it was early this morning or at lunch or sometime. I said, have you seen the numbers? Alabama and just about everyone in the Southeast, we are climbing way faster than we have any time past. So
it is 1,000 almost per a day.
Yes, it is. I do not see it coming down because
But if you look at the statistic, because the number of people they are testing now, way more the number of people they were testing before.
Yes. Yeah.
So I guess I was just really thinking more on the lines of just being more proactive about, decisions, and if we have a model that we agree with,
right.
If in fact they say no, we have to go back on campus, or whatever, for hybrid or for a few sections, I just wish we had something prepared so that they, so that people who don't actually teach math don't make a decision that really won't help.
Right.
If we have to go back, that's
right.
Really what I'm really thinking about.
Well, here's the suggestion I made when we had that GAP meeting, and I've reinforced it since then, that unless an instructor wants to be back, that the instruction occurs from off campus, but to accommodate those Lawson students who cannot or are not in a position that they can do virtual very well, they could be on campus in computer labs, spaced apart. Aisha, your idea of every other seat, in the computer lab, that, using that as a model, and that they could be there and they could be doing their virtual classes from on campus where they do have the technology to do it. Because our numbers are way down this summer. I'm saying on average around 20% down from what we were last summer. And I think the reason is that we have an awful lot of students who just can't do virtual classes well at home. Now, I don't know. I don't have the data for that, but that's my guess. And I know that students were griping and complaining, and I had some withdrawals, not a lot, that once we went to virtual, they just withdrew. They tried for a while, and then they withdrew. So I had a lot of others that just quit coming. I don't know what the reasons were. They've got a bunch of incompletes out there. I still haven't heard anything from anyone making them up. So my suggestion is that if they are thinking hybrid, the hybrid part is that the students that have to be on campus, that have no other way to go to school except being on campus, they could be there, but the instructors would be optional of whether they be there or not. And that way it would cover all the needs. And those who have to do labs, have to have one-on-one instructions, they certainly would be there. But I just can't picture being in a classroom and either a face mask or a shield or anything else and being able to instruct effectively. You know what they say about churches? The worst thing about going to churches is singing. Singing sprays those nuclei all over the place. And I have heard, I have no scientific basis for this, but I have heard so many reports of big spreads of the virus happening in a church environment. One was funerals, and this was early on. This was my home county in Georgia. Someone died. They had the funeral. This was back even before social, and the pastor died, and just a huge number of the congregants who were at the funeral, and no one knew anyone was sick there, but someone was asymptomatic, and they just spread it like crazy,
Oh my God.
And so churches are tough, and if you're talking churches being tough, how about an instructor standing in front spraying, out the thing? So the face shield thing is good, and I suggested have microphones. If you are going to have a face shield, then equip people with microphones. And one of the reasons I was saying all this, I think the more expensive we can make it that we think has to be done, the more they'll say, why don't you teach from home? Okay. I don't know. That's pretty evil, I guess, in my way of thinking.
That's true, because even with the students, the campus is not supplying face masks or anything like that, so the students will have to get their own face mask in order to come on campus. I think that's what she said at the GAP meeting.
Right.
And then we will have to supply our own cleaning supplies because the students will have to wipe off their desk and things like that. So.
And when I ran this by Dr. Pruitt, he said, we'll have to get someone to monitor the computer labs to do the very thing you're talking about, because in between, and Asia, I don't know if you remember this, but when you had that suggestion about using every other monitor, every other thing, I said, let's put a tent over that saying, please don't sit at this desk for social distancing. And as soon as that class is over with, whoever the monitor is for that classroom goes in and cleans the things, but then flips the tent and puts them on the one. So the next group coming in, whether it's the next period or 2 periods later, they're not sitting at the same computer the last people were at. They alternate where the tents are, And I think that would be a safer way to go. And now, Nyla, you said no more than, what you said, 6 or 8 in the class, something like that?
No more than 6.
No more than 6. What they were talking about at the GAP meeting was 15. And I thought that was awfully many.
No, that's...
Yeah.
Because the last day that we were in the classroom,
right.
I measured with my feet.
Right.
And when the students came to class, I was showing them how to get on the blackboard. So I marked for them where to stand.
Right.
So I just put them, just 6 at a time.
Right. So I think with all this put together, I think okay. Aisha, you ask it. What do you think our recommendation should be? You've heard several ideas. Is there anything we've got now, or you want to think about it and write them up and come back with it later?
Yeah, I would like to, give a recommendation. I'm not ready now.
Not ready now. Okay. I was going to say.
I'm trying to work some stuff out, like Cicely was saying. She's trying to work out, how to make that virtual environment work better than in class, on campus environment. So I'm still working on that too. But I was just really thinking about my last spring semester, and how many of my students came to class sick, coughing with fever. And I had to tell them, I'm asking, are you sick? Do you have a fever? Why are you here? Please leave. Don't come back. It was just really, it was something else. Okay. Too many of my students did that. So our students, they will show up sick. And, we're just one instructor. Once we go down, then who's going to take the class? I guess.
Exactly. That is the big issue. And here is the other thing. I don't know if you've heard this from the things you do. They are going to, now I don't know how this is going to work, but from my understanding, there will be only one door that people can come into any given building. Now, on the Bessemer campus, that A building is an enormous monstrosity. And if everybody has to go in the same door, and you have to have a temperature check going in, and you have to answer those questions. Are you sick? Are you feeling bad? If you have a temperature, you're not allowed in the building. You're sent back home. Now, how in the world that happens practically when people have ridden the bus to get there? They have to go back. The bus is gone. How do they get home? They have to sit down at the bus stop in the heat or in the cold or in the rain or whatever. And if they're sick and got a temperature, this seems kind of crazy, but that's what they're saying. You will not be able to be allowed in a building if you have a fever. And someone's going to be there with one of those infrared, I think it is, thermometers that you don't actually even touch. You hold it near their forehead, and if they register if they don't have a fever, they wear a little badge. They do this at UAB. Same thing. Only one door is going in. No students on campus yet, but the faculty, Karen, every time she goes in, she comes on with a little tag. And when I went to for a doctor's appointment, blood work at the lab, they took my temperature and asked me all those questions before I could go into the building. And then I was stopped at another station when I went from one building to another. Oh, you've already been checked. Go ahead. So that's what it's going to be. Now, how in the world are we going to have 8:30 classes where lots of students show up at 8 o'clock or 8:15 and they're 6 feet apart? I don't think anyone's thought through that. But, I don't think we need to have big crowds there. So that's why I think the idea of only students who need to be on campus have to go through and do the other thing. But let's have the instructors being at home, delivering the instruction from there. You can be talking with the students if they're in a computer lab on campus, if they're at their home, wherever. I'll just share this with you. In my classes this summer, and I believe for last spring too, I have seen more than one student that was doing the class from a vehicle, a car, an SUV, something like that. I could tell they were in a vehicle. And the odds are it was too noisy in their house, or they had driven somewhere, someone said this, driven somewhere that had Wi-Fi, and they were doing, going to class off somebody else's Wi-Fi because they didn't have it at home. So students are doing whatever they can to get there. And if we can make it easier for more of them to get the education they need, whether it's on campus or off campus, we need to do it. But I don't think it's wise for instructors, unless they have to be there, to be there. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Dr. Feller, we can use the classroom to put marks on the seat that they can sit, so they can take their devices, because some students, they need the Wi-Fi.
Right. And that's why I say students that have to be on campus should be allowed to be on campus, spread out, social distancing, in computer labs, whatever they need to have to happen, they need to be able to do that. But students who don't need to be on campus probably shouldn't be on campus. And certainly, if a student is not feeling well, I don't want them on campus. I don't want them exposing other students, even if I'm not on campus. They need to be at home or someplace, and they can still be in class. Even if they're not feeling all that well or have a little temperature, they could still participate in class.
They can be in the car in the parking lot and sitting in Last State parking lot if they are sick and they need the Wi-Fi. I mean, or they think that they are sick.
Yeah.
Use the Wi-Fi at Last State. Yeah.
Okay. Now I think of that for early or late August classes. I sure don't want to be in my car. They'd either have to have the air conditioning running constantly.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that could be a problem. And then later, it's going to be really cold out there. But that is better than not. Does the Lawson's Wi-Fi reach the parking lot well? I've never tried it.
I'm not sure. I never tried it.
It does. If
it
you
does.
sit in the parking lot, I've done this in front of the C building, you can access the Wi-Fi.
Okay. All right. Okay. So that is a good idea. Now, on the Bessemer campus, on the Birmingham campus, some of the student parking is pretty far from any building. So I don't know if it reached the back part of those parking lots because the faculty staff has the parking close to the buildings. So I don't know. It's a good idea, and I think it's worthy. But you see, an awful lot of our students don't drive. They're either dropped off on campus or they are.
Yeah, they drive or ride transportation. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Now,
I'm still under that idea to collect all computers and let the CIS in our school to get all of these students who their major are CIS and fix those computers and just distribute them for the students who need devices.
Yeah.
We can collect all computers. Let the State do a drop off, all computers. There's so many people, they have so many computers in their houses that they do not need. They can update it or fix it or do something and distribute it for the students who need them.
Okay. I think that sounds like a great idea, but there is some computer hardware that if you don't have that, you can't operate. We had an old computer here when my computer died, the one that was issued to me, my Fujitsu died. Karen, my good IT person here, fixed it up, but she had to take off the operating system because that wouldn't work. She put on a new one that she got through UAB. She got it for free there, so she put it on. It was really awkward to do, but I could do it. But not everybody has a Karen to fix computers. But some of the old, and I don't know, I just know some terminology, 8-bit machines or 16-bit machines or something like that just will not operate, will not do the things that we need them to do. So if it's a really old computer, I'm not sure that can be salvaged for that. But then number two, I don't think our MIS department has the manpower to fix tons of old computers. They seem to be stressed just keeping up things that they've got to do. Like,
I know.
Yeah, so it's a good idea, but I don't know. Back on the thing of masks, though, since that did come up, there are some, in our neighborhood here, okay, there are a group of women who way back early in the game started making masks, and they offered them for free for people who absolutely needed them. If we wanted to get in touch with them, I bet you, they can churn them out too. The last I heard, they were in the thousands or tens of thousands of masks that they had made and distributed, and quite free for free. Karen made several, but she's not nearly as, she's working full time, so she didn't have time to do it. But she made them for her family members, their parents and others, because they were hard to come by at first. And she mailed them to them. And those were big, ugly envelopes, but she mailed them masks. So I think we could get masks. If students need the mask, if that's what's keeping them from coming to campus, I think there's some sort of resources out there we could. But computers, That's a lot harder than making a mask. And I mean, it's a great idea. I wish we could implement it, but I don't know that it's practically doable. But I'll put it down anyway. All right. Wow, this is a good meeting. I guess we're into anything else you need to be discussed. Fall schedules that blossomed into a lot of things. So I would say to answer your question, Aisha, and maybe others, if you have ideas, get them to us. That's what some of these meetings like GAPS and stuff, but they've been while people have been in class. So if you have ideas, let's get them out there, publish them, let people rip them, think about them, ruminate on them, whatever. We need to do that. We really do. And I've forwarded to Dr. Pruitt ideas like when I went to have blood work done, that's where I came up with the idea of every other seat. In the waiting room for the lab, every other seat approximately had a sign, please do not sit here, social distance, And I thought, hey, we could do that with Aisha's idea, only you have a tent that's movable. They were taped to those chairs and have a tent that's movable. And as soon as this class left, flip the tent so that no one would be sitting at a computer that someone had just sat at. Okay, and then go on and clean it and stuff like that. Because one of the gripes I heard, I think it was at the GAP meeting, that some of the disinfectants or other things need so many minutes to be effective. And if a class comes in right after the other one, that's not happening. So therefore, if we did that and just, even if it's, was chairs in a room, just move the tent from one to the next so that no one follows anyone else in at least an hour and 15 minutes in between, or hour and a half in between anyone sitting at the same place somebody else just did. Now, that's going to require a lot of coordination. Now, frankly, this idea of a computer lab with multiple classes, students from various classes in the same computer lab, and that could happen because we don't have enough for every class, then I think the students have to have headsets and microphones because otherwise it would be so noisy you couldn't make anything out.
Right.
But then again, that's something that I think the college needs to seriously consider investing in.
Yeah, but I guess they need to hear it from us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I will put together something. I'll send it out to everyone, and if you all want to read over it, add to it, or add whatever you think. I just would like to have some type of plan of action. If they say go back on campus, I just wouldn't want someone who doesn't really teach math to tell us how to. I just would want them to know what would be the best way to do it. That's all. But thanks for that, Dr. Fowler.
Yeah, and the other thing too, what you have found out and others of you have found out about the styluses, about this, that, anything like that, let's get it out so someone can see that as a possibility, and maybe the school would invest in it, maybe not, but at least we can publish it that these are things that work or don't work. Mr. Tyler had some ideas. Anything that you can come up with, hey, it's worth at least a discussion about. All right, good deal. Any other issues? I know it's getting to be 4:30. We're getting close to the time I allowed. I think Zoom will let me go longer. I've got a 5 o'clock class, so we'll have to leave fairly soon. Anything
I have
else?
Office hours too now. I have a health session now. I have to leave.
Okay.
I have a health session.
Thanks so much for all your input. So unless I hear otherwise, can we say let's start wrapping this up?
Yes, sir. And if you guys need my PayPal and all the other stuff, once Aisha gets with them and see what type of electronic cash service or whatever he has,
right?
Let me know. And
okay.
I'll be more than happy to send that information out.
All right. Thank you so much.
Sure.
All right. Here I have a return the meeting. That's not what I want. I need to find a screen that I can cancel the meeting I'm in. Have y'all been before? I haven't noticed things aren't popping up anymore. What do you see on your screen? Is it just my picture?
Yeah, I see your forehead. I see your forehead.
Okay, well that's the best part. Okay. Y'all don't see the math department meeting. So evidently my visual is no longer, well, that's all that you see. I'll have to figure out a way to get out of this thing. Let me go. That's the wrong one. Okay. Zoom meetings. Oh, there we go. All right. So I'm going to end the thing unless there's any last thoughts, parting shots.
All right. Y'all take care.
All right. You too.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Bye-bye. Oh, man.